All right, imagine this. You've got a fantastic property, maybe somewhere lovely like Kavala, and suddenly you see a few empty nights staring back at you on the calendar. The knee-jerk reaction for so many hosts is just, slash the prices for those last-minute bookings, right? But what if you could play it smarter? Today, we're diving deep into some really smart strategies from Planbnb. They specialize in helping hosts navigate this exact challenge. And our mission here is to figure out how you can attract those last-minute bookings without totally undervaluing your place by just dropping your public rates.
Exactly. We're looking at creative, profitable ways to fill those gaps. It's about, like Planbnb puts it, positioning your listing smarter. Really trying to avoid that race to the bottom on price that, well, so many hosts can fall into.
Okay, so let's unpack that core idea then. The secret isn't necessarily a lower price, it's the smarter positioning. And one really fascinating strategy Planbnb champions is turning those open calendar nights into appealing private offers. How does that work?
Well, what's really insightful here is how they leverage your existing guests or even incoming ones. Say you have a night free just before a new guest checks in. You could kind of discreetly offer that incoming guest the option to check in a day early, maybe at a special reduced rate just for them. Or for guests who are about to leave, you could suggest, hey, why not stay an extra night? They call these micro extensions, and they're handled privately, maybe through direct messages. So the guest feels like they're getting a bit of a VIP deal. And crucially, because it's not public,
Right.
it doesn't mess with your base rate or signal to everyone else that your prices are flexible. It's adding value to their stay while, filling your gap.
That's clever, using those existing relationships. Okay, but shifting gears a bit, Planbnb also talks about dynamic pricing. That's something that impacts almost every booking, but for hosts, doesn't it sometimes feel like you're just surrendering control?
Yeah, that's a really valid concern. And I think what Planbnb really nails with dynamic pricing isn't just that you use it, it's how you manage that sensible price floor. These tools, they adjust rates based on demand, events, day of the week, seasonality, all that stuff. But the key isn't just letting it dip as low as possible. Planbnb really emphasizes setting that floor price to avoid, well, first, unsustainable prices that just damage your brand, and maybe just as important, deterring guests who are only looking for the absolute rock bottom cheapest deal.
The quality aspect.
Exactly. Want to make sure even a last-minute booking reflects your property's value and hopefully attracts the right kind of guest.
It really does make you think differently about your calendar, doesn't it? Less like desperately plugging a hole and more like strategically optimizing an asset. And speaking of last minute, those travelers, they're often impulsive, right? How does Planbnb suggest we capitalize on that spontaneity?
Precisely. They highlight just how powerful enabling instant book and same-day check-in can be. Think about it. Someone's searching on a Friday afternoon for a weekend getaway right now. Those features, they're practically non-negotiable for that kind of booker. It just removes all the friction. Opens the door to potentially dozens of spontaneous bookings, especially during peak times or holidays when demand can spike out of nowhere.
Makes sense. Make it easier for them to just click book.
Yep.
Okay, but what about minimum night rules? They can be pretty strict. For those last-minute spots, you'd think you just have to ditch the rules entirely.
Not necessarily. They suggest treating minimum night rules more like a living system. So for example, maybe for a premium villa, you set a 7-night minimum way out, like 2 or 3 months in advance. But as those dates get closer, say a month out, and if they're still empty, you gradually adjust that minimum. Maybe down to 5 nights, then maybe 3. Planbnb apparently rarely recommends going below 3 nights, but having that flexibility means you don't automatically miss out on potentially good, shorter last-minute stays.
Right, it's a calculated adjustment.
It's calculated risk, exactly. Balancing maximum occupancy without totally wrecking your long-term strategy.
It sounds like a bit of a delicate dance, balancing flexibility without causing chaos. But even with all these smart pricing tricks and rule adjustments, if nobody sees your property, none of it matters, right? Visibility.
Absolutely. Visibility is paramount. And, Airbnb's algorithm, it tends to favor active, optimized listings. So Planbnb points out that even a really minor refresh can help. Things like just reordering your top photos, maybe tweaking the headline slightly, or adjusting a sentence in the description. It signals to the algorithm that your listing is, quote, fresh, gives it a small but potentially meaningful boost in search results.
Keeps it top of mind.
Exactly. For those last-minute browsers just scrolling through, it's pretty low effort for potentially high impact.
Okay, and there's one final strategy they highlight, which seems incredibly effective. Sometimes your best prospects are, well, already unpacked in the bedroom.
Yes. It's such a smart move. Before your current guests check out, Planbnb suggests sending a friendly, personalized message. If the nights right after their stay are still free, offer them an extension, maybe with a little special discount. Think about it. Costs you nothing in marketing.
True.
It feels like a nice favor to them, and it's an incredibly cost-effective way to fill those immediate gaps without chasing new leads or resorting to public price drops.
So, when you pull all this together, what's the common thread in these Planbnb strategies? It seems clear. You don't always have to lower your price just to fill the calendar. You just need a smarter strategy, one that really values timing, flexibility, understanding guest psychology, and a bit of proactive communication.
Yeah, it's about playing chess, like you said earlier, not checkers, with your inventory. And when you approach last-minute availability with that kind of, let's say, creativity and control, you're not just maintaining your pricing integrity and profitability, you're actually often elevating the guest experience too, turning what could be a stress point for you into a potential bonus for them.
Yeah. So maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. How might these same principles, valuing precise timing, staying flexible, understanding the underlying psychology, how might they apply beyond just property bookings? Where else in your own life or work do you need to attract last-minute engagement or fill those unexpected gaps? Something to think about.